Okay. And yes, recording and transcribing.
There we go. Wow.
Okay.
Uh, Barbara, as you know, I have been changing the format. You and I have been doing this stuff for a long time. And I would venture to say that nobody that I've ever known has disseminated more small business information than you have, both from just a general perspective and from your books, which hold up your book so we can see that today is the release date. Yes. Do you remember how many years ago you started this?
More than 25.
More than 25 years ago.
Yes.
Uh, and you and I have been, this is our 15th year of live streaming on the internet. And I know no two folks have been doing it that long. I know that. Wow. So you are one of the major reasons that I celebrate business, because you are my mentor on celebrating business, and I've been following you for 15 years now, and it's if people could have as much fun celebrating business as you and I have, my goodness.
It would be good.
It would be a good thing. It would be a good thing. Well, let's if you would share, and the last time we spoke, you just briefly spoke about it, but the first time in your personal life where you really started to celebrate business.
Well, my whole career has been oriented in that way. So when I was a lawyer and I was practicing, I worked with small business owners to help them incorporate, to do buy-sell agreements, to do estate planning for them. So my whole career was that way already. And then when I decided to start my own business, it was just a natural for me.
Well, actually, I want you to go back further in time to your household, the household that you grew up in. Wasn't there a spirit of celebrating business in your own home?
Well, sure, because my dad was a small business owner. He owned a machine shop. And so, and we would have dinner every night when he came home. We didn't eat until he got home. And then we would sit around and he would share what happened during the day.
So he actually talked about
He
business.
talked about business, the ups and downs, the good things and the bad things. And
Wow, we in my household, my household and my grandparents' household, my grandfather was absolutely my major mentor in everything that I'm doing. I mean, it's amazing, but I think that the point I'm trying to get to is that you it was in your home, so you were kind of a natural to it, and then somehow in your lifetime you were going to get into it, whatever formula that was. And
sure, and back in the day, there was only small businesses. There weren't these big box stores or big. Yeah, there were a couple of big department stores and such, but and couple of big supermarkets. But we still had the local hardware store, the local grocery store. They were all small businesses.
And as you shared with the rest of your world, last Saturday was Small Business Saturday.
Yes, it was.
And not only did I tell folks, from my perspective, to go support the businesses in their neighborhood, I also told them to thank the business owner for being there and doing it and doing all the things that you and I know they have to do to keep the front door open.
Yeah, and it's more challenging now than ever. So
is that wow? And it is amazing. And in my conversation with David yesterday, he about 3 different times in the conversation he used the words pandemic. And so the pandemic changed our lives in the way that we do things, particularly business.
Sure.
And why don't you share a little bit about that perspective from what you're finding out? And we're getting away from my format, but that's okay.
Okay, well, certainly how we connect with our customers, that changed. So it's no longer exclusively bricks and mortar. Even companies, businesses that were able to open up after the pandemic, assuming they survived, and then they could open up after, have continued to use hybrid models where they're online, or that customers are picking up and not coming, they're prepackaging for them. And so that's one way. And of course, payment models, how people pay. I just heard about Small Business Saturday that Apple Pay is like exploded. I mean, it's one of the main ways people pay for things. So no longer the bank credit cards. There are other ways to pay, Venmo and PayPal, of course. And so businesses have had to adapt to a broader range of payment models, and dealing with fewer employees. I mean, they can't get employees. I had an air conditioning problem, and I spoke to the tech who came to fix it. They used to have 15 techs out to repair, and now they have 2. They can't get people. They just can't hire people to do that. So small businesses, and that's a small business, and they have to service customers and find ways to keep customers happy while there are challenges about. And then also one more thing is just money. I mean, the cost of money is higher because interest rates are higher. So small businesses that have used lines of credit or have become accustomed to just charging and letting things float on a credit card for a while, it's much more costly to do that now.
I had to smile on the very first point that you brought out when you talked about hybrid, because I have absolutely used that word to describe where I am in my life right now. Because up until 2008, I was an offline person. I was out, and my publishing and producing were done out, not in my home in front of a computer. And in the last 14 years, they have been online. So now I am personally merging those two worlds that I had to come out and to celebrate business. So you can do it offline, you can do it online, but you have to have that hybrid model right now. It's something because they're changing. Times have changed. Okay, so question number 2 was why are you still celebrating business? And you've demonstrated already, but may I give my perspective of
Sure.
why I celebrate business because of you?
Okay.
So my first contact was with you with the big ideas for small business, and this is today's. Oh, there you can see it. I got some cover in there, and I actually looked in my archives today. I made a statement to you the last time we spoke, and I went
But
to
you
my
said you saved them.
I have over 2,500 of them.
Oh my gosh. Well, think of it. You might have saved them, but I had to write them.
Well, I had that's that I can account for, and I'm sure because I've changed some things around. There's some missing from another hard drive somewhere, but I've been doing it for 14 years. I don't think I've missed too many days. Let's put it that way.
All right. Very good.
And today it was just today announcing your book, which you just held up. So we're making a real-time experience out of it.
Right.
And I have never done a whole lot with your deductions and tax breaks because you taught me something that I'm not going to go into right now. It was a reason for me, not to get so interested in that one. But of course, and you and I have had at least a dozen conversations on the small business taxes book. But something happened in 2020 with us, and it was a whole new perspective on how we've been speaking. Because I told you, well, it was in March of 2020. I said to myself, I had to come up with a different way of doing things because
COVID was here. Right.
So, you were one of the first people that I called to talk about it. And I said, well, let's start talking about it. Let's see where it shakes out. And you said, oh, by the way, David, I just published a startup guide, and and I did not know that you had done that. It just happened. And also, do you remember what else about that book that was different than any other discussion we've ever had?
What, the checklists?
No, no. That it said by Barbara Weltman, JD. And
Oh, that I put them. Yeah,
and that was the first time I'd ever seen you learn the jurisdiction. So,
Juris Doctor.
no, but
Juris. Yeah,
you've
I
earned it,
earned the degree. Yeah, yeah.
and it had never been, you'd never used it before in any of your bylines, and that was the first time it was used. Wow. Anyways, I went through the book right away, and I saw checklists, and I said, "Oh my Lord." The book that I did was 749 questions about small businesses, and I got those all out and put them all together in a book that I published myself. And I saw your checklist, and you had 250. You didn't know this, but I told you you had 250 items. And I said that if folks who wanted to be in business, if they went into the book line by line and went check, 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 they would have the complete story by the end of the book. Is that right?
Yes, that's absolutely true.
So that's it was amazing that you came out with that guide, and we talked about it, and I like checklists, and I like people answering questions. I mean, that's kind of what business is all about, isn't it?
Pretty much. Problem solving.
And problem solve. Well, and service. We have to use the word service in what we do, because we are providing a service. Now, the individual has to take value away. If they can't take value away, then it doesn't matter what we're what we're trying to do.
Absolutely.
And well, you see that as much as anybody, with coming out with a book every year. And here's the revision, guys, and here's the story. But a couple years ago, about 5 or 6 years ago, you then took on the using technology, that you would update the book or do anecdotes or whatever as the year went on. Digitally, you would do that, and then
we do a free supplement in February that's online only. Yeah, because Congress is not done yet for the year. So
didn't you say that the last time we spoke?
Well, yeah, and things have happened.
A lot of new things have happened since we last spoke that are going to make it even more difficult. I mean, today I was listening to a story about the trains and transits. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's amazing. And the president demanding that this has to be on my desk by the end of the day, kind of thing. And it's the new model of the new way we do business. In their case, though, we're always going to move goods by train. That's never going to change. So we got to get that figured out really quickly. Okay, so now the third question, I've already answered it about 10 times. Why is Barbara Weltman a dot expert? Why? And there's the story, guys. She's been doing it for a long time, and nobody is more focused and developed, and people waiting for the answers. And Barbara's the go-to person to get the answers to certain questions. That's a reason to celebrate business, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I hear from so many people, and I'm so encouraged by some of the people that I hear from. I just heard from somebody this week who's starting a manufacturing business. He says, where do I get the money, and where's the best place? And wanted some resources. And I said, well, you got to give me an idea how much you need, right? Because
was it a big number or a small?
Yeah, it was a big number. It was a big number because it's manufacturing. Yeah, but that's brave to do that.
It's certainly brave, but were you able to give them an answer where to go to get it? Or
yeah, I pointed them in some direction.
Well, because they just answered a huge question in Ohio. They're going to be making chips in Ohio up the road, and it's the biggest technology deal ever outside of China to do what they're going to be doing. So, I mean, the world is can't won't stop. We business folks won't let it stop. We want it to keep going. And,
Absolutely.
and that's why we do what we do. That's why we do what we do. Well, thank you for your guidance and leadership and showing me what I need to do what I want to do. Thank you.
You're quite welcome, and it's great. I mean, I don't have to do this anymore. I just do it because I love to do it now, and that's why.
I kind of don't have to do it. I have to do, well, you and I will do it till we can't do it anymore. That's
pretty much.
That's just the way we are.
Yeah.
And things are going to get in our way, and they're going to challenge us, but we'll figure out a way.
I talked to somebody yesterday who's retired 3 times already, and now he's back. He's retired 3 times.
Well, if you really celebrate this,
if you like what you do and you feel like you're helping other people while you're doing it, why stop?
So
I don't golf, so.
and you live in golfing weather. You move
right,
down there. You move down there to golf.
Exactly.
You're too worried about the storms coming through, and is it going to be safe to golf or what?
Well, we had 2 hurricanes, so
it's weird. Okay, well, thank you, and we didn't talk too much about the book, which I still would like to do so on as you have time and you want to talk about the book. Let me know, and we'll do it again.
We'll do some of the highlights of what's new.
Right now, or are
no, on another call.
Okay, well, I've got your opinion. What are the 3 main things that the small business owner must think about in 2023?
In 2023,
right?
Everything old is new again, and the main thing again. Well, in 2023, there's a lot of new green energy opportunities, new credits, expanded, and new ways to qualify, and so you have to check that out. Also, record keeping. I was on a call with somebody from the small business self-employed division who said he sees the problems over and over again. People just don't keep books and records. They don't have the paperwork. They can't back up what they do. It's just crazy. They're in business. What do they think they need to do? And so you get in trouble. And
read my book. I'll tell you what to do.
Yeah, I mean, for real. So anyway, and of course, also because of inflation, the COLAs, the cost of living adjustments to so many numbers, are dramatically higher next year. So
yay for Social Security, we got an 8.1% bounce, and as beautiful as that is, they're taking not as much Medicare out of
and the premium, and the Part B premium went down. When does that ever happen? So that was pretty good.
The net gain for us seniors are off the charts.
Pretty good.
It is. Well, thank you, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, sounds great.
Have a good one. Now, let me make sure I do this right, because we've had times where I haven't done it right. Stop recording. That'll do it. Stop recording.